don't tell him I've come here to get you saved. No, just teach the law. At the end of in the break time, they will come, I would like to get saved. I would like to get, because now they start to realize what is at stake now. They look back at how many of these, so then I start to explain. So this, I'm just giving you an example.
Yes.
But that's what I do with lawyers, with the doctors, with teachers, with the cabinet, with members of parliament. That is the way you teach, you speak. Unfortunately, in the church, we have one track only.
Yes.
We've lost some of the things. We have only one track. We only preach, get saved today, all of. Now, many of those people, as soon as you start like this, they close. This pastor they have brought here, when will he stop? When you go, yesterday I shared with you that you think Bible but speak Babylonian. You think Bible but speak what? Put the truth in the language that people understand. And then they'll call you again, and they'll call you again, and they'll call you again because you are relevant.
That's right.
They think you are relevant now. The DPP said, this we need. We have to look for money so that Bishop, you can come. And I said, I'm ready to go all over the country. He said, we've got to arrange that. Let's put the budget in place so that you can come. And I can teach that for a whole week. Because I've done my studies, organized them in a simple way that anybody can understand. That is very important, brethren, when you are dealing with nations. Those people who are holding guns, in Uganda we have a saying, the one who has a big dog is the one who can tame it. The owner of the big dog is the only one who can tame it.
Yes.
Now, but these people, even when the army, the commanders can no longer control those people, God's word has so much power. It can get him to clip and pierce to the heart. You understand that? If you can show them the implications of what they are doing, and you tell them what you are doing, your children are going to suffer from.
That's right.
To the third and fourth generation. Pastor was talking about the struggles that we've had in life because of the covenant your father made. Now, some Christians think as soon as you get saved, all those are no longer applicable. They don't continue to affect you. That is a lie. That is a lie. This world operates on the law of sowing and what?
Reaping.
When you get saved, you are born again. Your spirit is what? Is born again. You have handled the issue of the penalty of sin. The penalty of sin is dealt with, is committed. You can never face that as long as you're in the Lord. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. But the seeds that you sow here, you are going to reap them. Whether you're a Christian or a non-believer. Because this earth operates on the law of sowing and what? Reaping. Genesis 8:22 says, as long as the earth continues, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Seed time and harvest. That's why for us we pick it in giving. Unfortunately, we think it only operates there. It operates in everything. When Jesus, you go back to Luke 6, you'll find Jesus was explaining the law of sowing and reaping in Luke 6. When he got to 6:38, he says, give and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. But you go back to the context, you'll see. He says, judge and you not be judged. Yes. Give and you be given. So he's explaining the law of sowing and reaping in life. So if you gossip, what will happen to you? People will gossip. If you cheat, what will happen? People will cheat. This is the law. It does not segregate. That it will apply to believers, and it will apply to non-believers. It will not. This is the way we've tried to change grace, misrepresent grace, and that is a very big issue. While you preach that way, you cannot disciple a nation. It's important to present the whole counsel of God And that's what Paul said to the elders in Miletus. He said, I never withheld all the truth. I made sure I teach you all truth. That verse says, the reason God's judgments are in the earth is because that is only what will cause those people to learn what? Righteousness. If you tell them grace, no, they won't. They won't. They become like naughty children who don't understand the implications of their bad behavior. Is that a good parent? A good parent will tell the child that when you are naughty, this is what it means. And they will try to instill discipline when they are, and then they become better. So what I'm going to be sharing, therefore, requires us to understand that principle. I cannot get time this time to handle it in the way that I would, but I'll just give you a tip. And another example. Let me use another example for that matter. When I'm called to talk to workers, I'm talking about work ethics, and I'm talking about how to improve service delivery in the public office. I explain to workers how they should work, as work is also a sowing and reaping. Just explain, I mean, there are many aspects I talk about, but I come to work as a sowing, as when you are working, you are sowing work into the earth. God commanded the earth that anybody who puts work in you, you should give him back a good measure, press down, shake it together, and what? So when you put work, even just cleaning this place and prepare, whoever did it yesterday here, to quickly put up this tent, that is work. That work attracts reward before God. Any small work you do, God commanded the earth to pay you back. So what you teach people is not to look for payment. Tell them to work all the time. Many young people are looking for jobs. They don't want to work. You give them a job and they just seated there now because they have a contractual basis. I'll get my salary after all. Permanent and pensionable. Now that's why our nations are going down. There are no work ethics. So they're supposed to work so that there is good service delivery. It's not there because the work ethics are very, very poor. So when I'm going to talk about work, I explain from the Bible using the law of sowing and what? And reaping. So I told them. For example, one time the president called me to address the new members of parliament in Chankwan's, the last elections, not this one, but the previous one. Every time there is an election, and new members of parliament come into the ruling party, so they take them for a retreat. So he said, you'll be the one to speak. I said, thank you, Your Excellency. So when I went there, I started to talk to them about cheating when they're seated in parliament. I don't know whether it is the same in Nigeria, but here it's very difficult to raise a quorum in parliament because many members of parliament don't what? Turn up, yet they do what? They sign. Now I'm sure our sister here is not among those. Thank you for your good example, I'm sure. But when he called me, I went to Chankwan's and I started talking about